Golf Story is a new indie game on the Nintendo Switch with a ton of charm and personality. Think Earthbound with golf in it in this weird but oddly enjoyable RPG golf game. Whether you've played golf games before, I think you'll find something enjoyable with this title. Golf Story is a quirky little golf game with a very pleasing story filled with lovable characters. The game has you start off a short prologue set in the past. You see your main character as a little kid learning to play golf with their father. The tutorial progresses on as you see a close relationship between father and son blossom over the game of golf. 20 years later, you find the little boy you once were now as a grown man, wanting to return to the game of golf, but now the club you once played at with your father is now run by greedy players looking to make a quick buck. The main character wants to begin training again to enter the pro circuit, and eventually after earning some cash he's able to recruit a coach. However, in the process he finds himself working for the owner of the club, a man named Lucky who recruits the main character to spy on competing golf courses. It's a wacky story filled with funny dialogue, interesting unique characters, and honestly just a ton of charm. Golf Story features a level of charm and personality from something like Earthbound and mixes it with gameplay that's reminiscent of Camelot's Mario Golf games. Golf Story is of course a golf game, but there's so much more beyond that too. It'll even attract players who aren't fans of golf like myself. There's a whole RPG hidden underneath the golf blanket filled with things to do. Golf Story's main game mode is its story mode that takes you on a wacky adventure to enter the pro golf circuit, realizing that dream you had as a kid during those late summer nights of playing golf with your father. The gameplay has you explore contained little sandbox areas in the form of golf courses. There's a total of 8 different courses, each with their own little quirks that make them unique and feel different from the rest. The little contained sandboxes are filled with challenges, side quests, and story missions for you to do. If you choose to tackle the story head on, you'll find yourself running around the golf course completing different tasks like investigating why the mole rats are stealing the golf balls, to infiltrating the competition's golf course and seeing what sort of secrets they have that can help you win a competition. You can sort of think of each course as a dungeon filled with different tasks that ultimately end with a round of golf. In the golf parts of the game, you'll be playing your traditional game of golf with gameplay grounded by games in the same genre. You can choose the club to swing with while also seeing a live line that depicts the prediction ball route of your swing. Pressing X will let you change the point of contact on the ball, switching up the angle of the shot, while pressing the Y button will give you a marker on the swing meter to better aim your shots. Taking a swing is as easy as locking in your swing settings and then firing away. At the bottom of the screen you'll see a meter that you'll basically want to coordinate a button press to, along with the shaded areas on the meter to match up the prediction route. It's a very easy controller system that even players like myself that don't traditionally play golf games won't have trouble understanding. It's not entirely perfect though. I do wish that the game gave you a bit more freedom with the camera during games of golf. You're able to push in the right stick to zoom out the camera view during a swing, but the game doesn't tell you that. Instead it says camera on the controller layout, assuming that the right stick just pans around the camera, not zooming it in or out. Even then, the amount of movement you get with the camera pans is rather short. There were many times where I wanted to see where the hole was on the course that I was playing on, but I couldn't. Luckily each round of golf generally points you in the right direction, but I still would like to see where I'm aiming or where I'm supposed to be aiming. Now on top of the traditional game of golf, you'll find other variations on the game like mini golf and disc golf. They follow the same concept of golf but add in a unique twist. Disc golf, for example, is sort of the same concept. You're trying to get your disc into a target like a ball into a hole, but now you're able to control the movement of the disc mid-throw like an RC plane of sorts. It adds a nice little change of pace to the traditional golf gameplay. Just make sure you call them disc and not frisbees or else you'll piss off the NPCs. Aside from the golf-focused gameplay, you'll find challenges and side quests throughout each of the courses along with some built-in RPG elements. The challenges usually have you do a specific task in a game of golf, like hitting a certain amount of balls to a specific area or landing the ball on a specific type of grass during a match. The quests, on the other hand, sort of play out like minigames. For example, you're racing across the golf course with a specific time limit or collecting a specific object hitting on the course. The RPG elements come into play when you play and complete games of golf, challenges, or quests. Usually you'll earn some cash along with some XP that raises up your level. Raising up your level gives you points that you can invest into specific categories that will improve your games of golf. For example, increasing your drive or reducing your shot. The money that you earn from completing these matches or games can be reinvested into buying new equipment for your character. If for whatever reason you're only looking at this game for its golf gameplay, you can ditch the story mode altogether and just jump into Quick Play, which is a game mode that supports multiplayer. Quick Play essentially just gives you rounds of golf to play without the story mode in it, while also being able to play with a friend locally. The local multiplayer actually supports single Joy-Con use too, so you'll always be prepared to play multiplayer just by having the Switch. Golf Story is presented in this retro 16-bit-like aesthetic that's reminiscent of old-school Sega Genesis games. It may not be super flashy in graphics, but its retro look definitely gives the game some charm. I particularly really love the use of speech bubbles in this game. This game doesn't have any voice acting in it, yet the dialogue between characters has so much personality because of the simple yet effective use of animated speech bubbles. When things are said internally in one's head, the bubbles will become transparent. When characters scream or whisper, the text in the bubbles will reshape accordingly. It's something so simple yet so effective. It's a wonder as to why other games that primarily rely on text dialogue don't use it more often. The simple art style isn't anything too impressive in terms of graphical fidelity, but its simplistic looks do translate well on the Switch whether you're playing on the go on a 720p screen or in dock mode on a 1080p screen. The sound effects and music in this game are just alright. They honestly border towards the line of stock audio library use, but they do a good enough job, just nothing special. The one thing the game does now in the audio department, in a way I guess, is its use of HD rumble. While the sound effects aren't too special, they do have HD rumble vibrations mapped to them. Pretty much anything that has a sound effect has a rumble attached to it. It's subtle but incredibly effective and easily one of the best uses of the feature since 1-2 Switch. I hope that other both indie and AAA developers see this game as an example on how to properly use the feature, rather than just cranking up the vibration to the max only to have to patch it out later once the game is out for the public. Golf Story feels like the spiritual successor to the critically acclaimed Mario Golf game for the Game Boy that many gamers fell in love with years ago. It may not be the best rendition of the gameplay genre, but it gets pretty close to it. As someone that doesn't play golf games outside of the random minigame themed ones from time to time, I had a lot of fun with this title. It's quirky, weird, yet charming and oddly really enjoyable. Imagine the charm of Earthbound Story implemented into a golf RPG. That's Golf Story. It's definitely worth picking up whether you're a fan of the sport or not, and as someone who's definitely not into golf, I can definitely vouch for those who are wary about not wanting to play this game because they don't like golf. That's my review of Golf Story for the Nintendo Switch. If you have any questions I may have missed in my review, feel free to ask me in the comments down below, and I'll do my best to get back to you. If you enjoy this type of content, then please consider dropping a like and subscribing for more content like this on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and PC. As always, thank you all for being some awesome viewers, and keep on gaming.